We're live.
We're not saying no names.
Ready?
Yes. We're live, yes.
Good evening, everyone. Let me welcome all of you to our town hall meeting tonight. This is Mayor Ted Green. Just want to thank everyone for their patience this evening for us starting just a little late, but we're here tonight, and we thank everyone. We have a great panel tonight, and we're going to be talking about our MOET, Mayor Office of Employment and Training. But again, this is our 28th week doing our virtual town hall meeting, and we just want to thank everybody for tuning in and coming in and getting information on what we're doing in City Hall and some of the programs that we have and some of the opportunities that are there for our residents. But with that, I just want to introduce my panel tonight, because give an opportunity to know who represents our Department of Mayor Office of Employment and Training. Tonight we have with us, really don't need no introduction, our former councilwoman Jackie Johnson. We also have with us David Sharp from Johns with us, and this lady here we've been rolling together with this COVID-19 town hall meeting for weeks now. We have with us Dr. Griffin, who is the director of our Human Service Department. So with that, we always like to open up with our numbers. Today is September the 23rd. And I'm going to ask Dr. Griffin to just give everyone just an update on where we at with our COVID numbers, and also give you an update before we go into our conversation with our wonderful panel tonight on our flu shot sites. And Dr. Griffin, I'm going to turn it over to you very quickly.
Yes, good evening, everyone. As the mayor said, we continue to provide updates on our COVID cases, because it's still very important for you to realize and remember that COVID is still present here within the community. Here within the city of East Orange, we have a total of 2,102 positive cases, and that represents an increase in 19 cases since last week. As far as the confirmed deaths are concerned, there has been no change. The number of confirmed deaths is stable at 231. Within the various wards, in the first ward there are 343 positive cases. In the second ward, 396 cases. In the third ward, 490 cases. In the fourth ward, 482 cases. In the fifth ward, 474 cases. Within Essex County, we have a total of 2,862 positive cases, and that represents an increase in 140 positive cases since last week. As far as the deaths are concerned, there are a total of 1,898 cases, which represents just an increase in one. But whether it's one or more than one, everyone who passes away due to COVID is significant. And everything that we do related to protection and COVID prevention is to make sure that we do everything we can so our numbers remain completely stable. Within the state, there are a total number of 200,988 positive cases, which also represents an increase. And there were an increase in COVID-related deaths as well in the state. So while we're remaining stable here within the city, it's still very important to remember to do everything that you can to continue to protect yourselves, protect your families. You've heard us say many times to make sure you're wearing your masks, you're washing your hands, you're keeping your distance, because COVID is still present throughout the state and in many other states. Our transmission rate is stable, but again, it's important to protect yourself, especially as we're going into the flu season. And we know that there are a lot of individuals who are traveling, so again, be mindful of that. If you're contacted, if you're going out of state, if you're going to any location where there's a high incidence of COVID, please quarantine for the 14 days, and please make sure that you're monitoring your symptoms so that we locally can keep our transmission rate under control.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin, for that. So listen, you heard this information every week that we come on from Dr. Griffin and so many of the experts in terms of what we should continue to do. So You know, listen, we can't take things for granted. As Dr. Griffin said, our numbers are kind of like, low right now. But again, we can't take that for granted. We have to continue to do the things that we need to do to keep ourselves safe and healthy. So let's go, East Orange. So with that, I just want to give just a quick overview of some reminders. We have our census 2020 still going on. We have a couple more days. All those who haven't yet filled out the census, I want to get this in before we get to our panel. Please make sure that you filled out the census. If you filled out the census, we're going to challenge everybody that's on our social media tonight and who are listening in on this meeting. We're asking you to telephone 10 people that you know and just ask them that they fill out the census. The census is so important to the city of East Orange, and we need your help. We have to be counted so we can get the funds that we need in our city to move our city forward. So again, I just want to give you a quick number. You can go to 2020census.gov, or you can call 844-330-2020. So if you don't have a computer, you can go right to the telephone, do the prompts, and you'll be counted. So again, make sure that you are counted. And we all know that voting, we got the vote that's coming up November the 3rd, but again, you should still register to vote. There's many folks throughout the city that are registering people to vote on this Saturday at 120 Rhode Island Avenue. The Theodore Green Foundation and Vernon Pullers and Bird Lineage will have a voter registration drive from 11 to 2. So if you need to do a change of address, if you haven't registered to vote, if you're 17 years old, that's going to be 18 years old, and you need to register, please come over to 120 Rhode Island Avenue. Also, parolees, you are eligible to vote. You're eligible to vote. So make sure you know that. Come on by. So with that, because I'm so excited about the panel we have tonight, and we know for a fact that during these last few months that we have been on our town hall meetings, folks have been very concerned about employment. So we wanted our employment, the Mayor's Office of Employment and Training, to be here tonight to really tell you what they do each and every day, what we offer, and they're going to give out some numbers, some information so that you can have it and that you can utilize our services. So with that, LaDonna, how you doing this evening? Manager, LaDonna. So listen, your guys here tonight, give us an overview of some of the things that the Mayor's Office of Employment and Training does each and every day over in your office. Look at the camera.
Well, the Mayor's Office of Employment and Training primarily to service East Orange residents only. So that makes us unique from a lot of other services that are out here in the state. We were created just for you. And we're here to service you for your employment needs, whether it be finding a job search, training, or revising your resume, or placing you on a career path. We're here to service all of those needs. We serve all ages, anywhere from teenagers up through senior citizens, so there's no cutoff. We also help and assist our residents with other needs, or what we call possible barriers. Things, if you're having issues with transportation or child care, we will refer you to the proper agencies or put you in touch with people who can actually help you if that is an issue with keeping you from being employed. So we are located on 90 Halstead Street, the second floor of the Senior Services Building, and we are here to serve the residents.
Thank you very much. In this greater northern central New Jersey area, who are some of the top employees that's hiring right now, and what can our residents do to gain access to these opportunities?
Well, we have a lot of partners agencies that we partner with. One big one is the Council for Airport Opportunity. And so while the airlines may not be flying as much as they used to, there are a lot of jobs in the airport itself. There are also fulfillment centers, personal shoppers. Of course, we have the Amazons of the world, wholesale, Whole Foods. A lot of retailers are looking for people to actually shop for customers, so customers can come in and pick up their purchases rather than customers coming into the store shopping. So that's a change with COVID. There's also a big uptick in education. People who have tutoring skills and who have a teaching background. There's a big need because a lot of the young people are at home virtually getting their training and their education, and sometimes they need extra assistance. And of course, sanitation. That's a big one now during the COVID. Everybody's looking for people who are willing to learn sanitation, the proper sanitation techniques, or who already have experience.
Considering a return to school during COVID-19? Is there any grants out there?
Well, we have grants available all the time, and specifically through the state and through the county. Right now, the state is waiting to pass its budget, so we're waiting for those monies to come down, and as well as the county. The county is not open for people to come into the county, but as soon as we get that information, we will let everyone know. We'll put it out there on the website, or you can call in or at our office.
What's your website number?
Our email address is workforce@eastorange, and that's all together, -nj.gov.
Can you repeat that? Because I want to make sure people know where the website to go on.
Okay, it's workforce, that's our email address, WORKFORCE@eastorange, that's all together, -nj.gov.
Right.
And you can also reach us by phone at 973-677-8914. And someone should, if you reach out to us, someone should get back to you within 3 business days or less.
You heard that, 3 business days. All
Yes.
right. Thank you for that, Ms. Johnson. So, Dave Sharp, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man.
Good, good, good. Very quickly, just give people a little background about yourself, and we're going to move on to some questions, in terms of what part you play at Moet.
Absolutely. My name is Dave Sharp. I'm the job developer at East Orange Moet, Mayor's Office of Employment and Training. And basically, what I do is I look to identify regional industries in demand. In other words, industries that are showing that they're hiring because of growth or maybe products. Also, I look for regional workforce needs. Particularly right now, there's needs in the transportation, logistics, and distribution industry, in the manufacturing industry. So in identifying those industries and workforce needs, we also have to address skills gaps because, we do have people who want to get into these industries, but they may be coming from another industry. So as a job developer, I'm always looking for trends in industries that are hiring in our region.
Great. So, with that skill set, is the city going to invest in or partner with other agencies to upskill displaced workers?
Absolutely. Currently, just before the pandemic, our department was making some inroads with the Port of New York, New Jersey. There you have, again, transportation, logistics, and distribution opportunities. There's a trend now to start to fill some of the needs because most people think of the ports, they think longshoremen, but you have other companies, container companies, warehousing, that aren't just looking for laborers, but you also have executive and office positions to be filled. So a lot of people don't realize that they may have been in an industry working in an office, But they don't really realize that office skills are office skills, no matter what the industry. So companies are looking to partner to identify individuals that could come in and apply and get accepted into their what they're considering apprenticeship opportunities. Apprenticeship isn't just construction anymore. It's really any industry that wants to invest in people for their needs, for their industry. There's also other organizations, the New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, which is also looking to address the needs of the manufacturing industry. So they're looking to also partner. So right now, there's a lot of companies of industries, because they all have the same needs, looking to just partner together to open up opportunities for individuals.
Right, so
that's it.
and definitely good, but with that, how can MOET assist unemployed residents in transferring their skills to gain employment in a new industrial?
Okay. First things first, we have to look at a career assessment. You know, that starts with looking at your experiences, looking at your skills, any certifications, any licensing, any schooling. A lot of that information is on your resume. And pretty much that's kind of where it starts, because your resume, that's what's going to sell you. I'm going to sit with an individual, and we're going to talk about what industry they've been in and what they may be interested in going into. Luckily, nowadays, the technology has afforded us tools, assessment tools, that can help break that down and help identify an individual. A career assessment can produce 900 different opportunities, occupations for an individual, up to. But you know, which one really fits. So a career assessment is the start, and that's a person, you know, not really being sure what they want to do. They just know that right now they're displaced. They worked somewhere 10, 15 years, and now they don't know which way to go. So hopefully they can come to us, and we can give them, like I said, an adequate career assessment and help them point them in the right direction and get their resume to reflect the job they want. I mean, just to put a resume together without really knowing the job or the industry, you know, you could be chasing your tail. But we definitely want to do a good career assessment.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Yeah, that's a lot of information. So in today's virtual world, right, your resume is more important than ever, as that is often the first impression you would make, you know, when you go to a job. What advice can you give someone who, you know, in terms of, you know, presenting their resume to stand out from somebody else? Something very quickly, what is your advice in terms of coming from MOET, in terms of what advice can you give someone on how to make their resume stand apart from the rest?
Yes. Well, remember, your resume is your marketing tool, and you want to write it specifically to cater to the company or the position you're trying to obtain. You need to be brief, keep it simple, and, you know, stay away from any fancy fonts and graphics, but also, too, research is key. You know, you want to kind of look at, again, industry, occupation, and look at your resume. If it doesn't fit and it's not going to be that marketing tool for that position, then let's talk about changing it and you know, putting information on that resume that's going to help you with that job.
Right, thank you for that. And we all know, sitting around this panel, how important your resume can either make you or break you. We know that for a fact. I'm gonna move on very quickly, then we're gonna bounce back and forth. And some of these questions too, I'm gonna be kind of filtering Dr. Griffin in, because, you know, being that we're still with the COVID, there's some conversation we need to have around all these job opportunities and information that y'all providing. So I'm gonna go to Councilwoman Jackie Johnson, who I know for a fact, who is not new to this this job opportunity, apprenticeship, training programs, because she's done it for years with the county. way before the county. So I just want to introduce Jackie Johnson, give her opportunities, but just give you a little background of what she's doing and some of the things she's doing also. And also, as we have this conversation, Councilwoman, I want you to go right into telling us about the specifics about the project at L&M Development and the upcoming job opportunities available.
First of all, thank you, Mayor, and thank you for having us. It's easy to
Yes.
be able to talk to about what we do. I've just finished came off council last year after doing 20 years.
That's right.
Which I was very grateful for and very happy when the mayor asked me to come and be part of the administration. I've been with the county for 15 years and only doing job development and helping people find jobs. I've been working before the pandemic, actually, before we left work. I was working on the mayor's business luncheon. I found about 300 different businesses. There's a lot of people in our town that have in-home businesses that we don't even know about. Yeah. And I was also starting to put together the reentry program. So since the mayor has tasked us now to find jobs, I've been calling the people that we've had since the pandemic with reentry. So far as people hiring, I only got 2 no's. So I think we're ready for that. I'm reaching out to the other business partners in the city to see if they're interested. You see little cards everywhere in the stores, but you never pick them up and call them. But these people are residents, and they are running their businesses either home-based or with other people. I also am working on the, what do we call the pre-apprentice, apprentice construction program. I guess that's what we're gonna call it, because there's a little bit of everything. I did receive a call and was subsequently on a conference call with L&M Development. L&M Development is a company that bought 500 North Walnut Street, better known as Norman Towers, or the building you can see from the Parkway, because they may not know the address. They're getting ready to renovate the building inside and out, common areas. They're going to be renovating 406 units and putting down new sidewalks, fixing the bricks and things like that. I've talked to people from L&M, including the owners. They also, which is unusual for most companies, they have their own workforce office. And so we've talked to them, and they're going to be looking at this point for 5 people to work with them as apprentice. They'll be working for the subcontractors. 2 positions are starting now. They should be starting within the next 2 weeks. And those are the people that'll be doing cement. We're learning cement work and doing the pavers. Come January 1st, they're going to start on the inside. They said they need 3. I have a feeling they're going to need more than 3 people to work, because that's a lot of units to renovate. And so there'll be a total of 5. So L&M is on board. They're very excited about being the first. They can't wait to get involved in the city and meet our residents, and all the people that are going to be hired are going to be hired by the subcontractors, people that L&M have hired. So with them being the first, I'm on a mission now, Mayor, and for our residents to ride around and see who's working.
Right.
And, you know, we have to call out the troops, we will, to make sure that our people get an opportunity to work, hopefully permanently. And if not, then we have other positions that we can just move them into in other areas so they can learn even more. And that way, when we're ready to do the big one in Brick Church, we have people who are skilled and ready to work. So I also looked at the people that we have taken for the mayor's luncheon that we didn't get a chance to do because of COVID. And I'm almost done with that list, and that was 151 people.
Wow, that's great.
So I've called most of them, and they are hiring. And so they're going to take their referrals from us once we vet, because you always want to put your best foot forward. And people always say they need a job, and a long time ago I had training, it says, no, they need money.
Yeah,
And right now, people need money. They need
Yeah.
to keep a roof over their
That's
head
true.
and food on the table.
yes.
And in order to do that, we have to help them get there. And hopefully that will get them to want to learn more and make it a career path.
Right, and I'm glad you said that, right, because there's so many of our young folks who we always encouraging to go to college or go to a technical school or take a trade, right? But in terms of introducing our young people to like construction, right, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, drywall, masonry, what are some of the plans that y'all have in more? Because we know how lucrative these businesses are. We just got to get our young people to know that being a bricklayer, you can make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Doing HVAC, you can make a lot of money.
Yes, you
and
can.
and there's different technology in construction that they can be doing coming out of high school making so much money. We quite often talk about property maintenance and building, right, where you got the fire, code official, the plumbing official, and a lot of our young people don't know about these type of opportunities where these guys make $37 an hour part-time and can work in different municipalities. So in terms of, talk about that a little more, how important it is for our young people to know that when it comes to skills and construction, that, you know, it's something that, you know, we need to really highlight when it comes to our young people.
Absolutely. One of the things that I want to do in order to move that needle is to talk to some of the trading schools that we have around, because people don't excuse me, have money to go. They're very expensive. However, we can possibly partner with schools that people can get to, that teach those particular areas. Also, the Essex County College is also going to start, they just started their first class. We're going to get information on their second class for subcode officials, building inspectors, electrical inspectors, fire protection, plumbing, and technical assistance.
Yes.
And the most amount that any of those, the most cost it's always part-time, and they're working everywhere else too. So those are things that are open right at our county college that we just got the information from that we didn't even know existed.
Right.
So now we have that.
Is there a number they can call to get that information?
Yes, they can call, it's Miss Drake, last name is D-R-A-K-E, the number is 973-877-5, and she can give the information for when the next class is starting, and probably on the same rotation as the semesters of school, but it would be a great opportunity, and it's not a lot of money, and maybe we can, you know, if we get some grants, help people to get there, and then we can hire our own folks. We don't have to go outside the city to hire for those building inspectors. I also, because of my relationships with the county, and the mayor and I talked about possibly having a conversation with Tom Eastwick, who is the owner of Eastwick College, that teach all of those trades in Nutley where people can get to. They're the second school in New Jersey that actually teaches funeral directing. You know, the other one's in Trenton. But, you know, things like that are needs, and I think our young people just need a focus. Where do I want to go from here? Do I want to make it my lifetime career? Or do I want to, you know, where do you want to see yourself tomorrow, 6 months, a year, in order to get those done? And these things can give us a way to open the doors and let them in and see what we're doing. Even if they intern with us once they get out of school,
Right.
they can learn how to do those things, and being that they're East Orange residents, that's a winner all the way around. So
Yeah.
those are the things that I think that we're going to start working on in my end of MOA.
Right. I quite often, when we talk about the different trades and the different opportunities out there, I always quite often tell, you know, especially my nieces and nephew, look at the newspaper. It tell you what job opportunities out there, but it also tells us how the market is moving. And I quite often when I see young people, I say, listen, if I know what I know now, you know, and the business that I'm in, learn a trade is so important because you're going to always be needed. Electrician is always going to be needed. A plumber is always going to be needed. People that's doing HVAC is always, look, during this COVID, it changed the whole dynamics of how we doing things now, right? How the systems have to be different from each other. So again, through Moet, we're bringing those type of skill sets right here in the city of East Orange. Now, Ms. Johns and Mr. Sharp and and Councilwoman Johnson, we all talked about the importance of when job opportunities come in the city of East Orange, and we're saying that with the help of our East Orange City Council, that there's going to be quite a few development here in the city of East Orange. And I can bounce this to either one of y'all. How are we preparing to make sure that East Orange residents, right, East Orange businesses, East Orange suppliers are going to be a part of that transition, right? So when these big jobs come in, we got to work hard making sure East Orange residents have an opportunity on these jobs, right? And when they do have the opportunity, we don't want it to be a one-shop deal, right? Meaning that once the construction job is over or the redevelopment over, it's over for those people working. When we're looking at some sustainability, right? And we're looking at for people to have long-term opportunities and jobs in the city of East Orange. So how can, one of y'all can answer that, I don't care if we're answering, what are we doing to make sure that those things are in place?
Well, as you related to the developers and the development going on in East Orange, most of the developers, I mean, they're responsible for building, they're responsible for maintaining, and they're responsible for pretty much the retail businesses or businesses that's going to be a part of that structure. So if we in the beginning can work, and as the question was asked before, partner with these organizations, developers, or companies, and come up with some sort of agreement that's going to not only provide, you know, opportunities in the construction phase, but also in the operation phase of once the building or business is in place, that could be very important. So we definitely want to, anyone coming into the city that wants to do business or that are currently in the city who maybe wants to expand, you know, again, let's talk to them about their workforce needs. Because they're looking for employees, we just don't want them looking outside of East Orange. We want them to give East Orange a chance first to come to Moet, and we have people in our system that where we want, and we queried out and looked at their experiences and their skill sets, and be able to offer these businesses individuals right here at East Orange.
And if I may, Mayor?
Yes.
A lot of these developers are hiring subcontractors. The subcontractors are the ones that are going to do the hiring. And a lot of the subcontractors, they look for people in East Orange. But if you're doing one business, what they're going to do is look to do another development. So what we want to do is make sure that we keep people working so they can pay their rent, they can do what they need to do. And then, as you have instructed us, when it's time for the big brick church to start, we have people who are ready, able, and willing to go to work because they've already had that hands-on experience working through. And like David said, if you're going to do one job and you're going to do another, you need to take them with you. And that's an incentive, because at the end of the day, we're going to have a skilled workforce, and that's what we need.
Right, and I agree with you 100%, and Councilwoman Johnson can attest to this. We put a professional labor agreement in place while we was on council, and that PLA still stands. One of the things that we want folks to know, that we're not going to allow folks to come in and do all this development and there's no opportunities for East Orange residents. We feel that if you're here and there's you know, some tax abatements in place, then you know, we're going to have some community agreements, which we do have, And I want to thank the council for always embarking on making sure that those things in place, because we have to benefit. And it's to us, especially as the mayor, and clearly know about the compliance piece, you know, because that's all I did, and along with affirmative action, is making sure that there's some set-asides for, you know, WBEs, SBEs, MBEs. It's important. It's so important because when jobs come in our community, and the jobs who represent the people that live here and look like those folks here, I think it's always a better fit, right? And that's what Moet plays such a vital part in making sure those things evolve. So with that, I do want to ask, right? There was a business meeting that you were setting up with all the businesses, right? Are you planning, Councilwoman, to do that event virtually or on Zoom, so we can still continue to pull the business owners in?
That's what I was thinking,
Okay.
and LaDonna and I had, Ms. Johnson and I had talked about it.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to put that together, because there were too many people that we just didn't know were here and have been here for years.
Yeah. So, Ms. John, and you can, listen, anytime y'all need to kind of butt in, this don't have to be so formal. I like to, you know, y'all can just chime in and some of your thoughts, some of the things that we are doing, because I'm more comfortable with just chiming in. It don't have to be so formal. But we do a lot of job fairs. We do a lot of job, like I love more of job, not the fairs, but more of jobs, employment hiring, right? Where these jobs come in and say, you know what, Mayor, before we leave today, we're gonna hire a number of East Orange residents. What are y'all doing concerning your job fairs and employment affairs?
Yeah, well, we're looking again, of course, at the delivery services. This is that time of year, and I hate to keep going over and over, but the UPSs, the FedExes, Amazon, any retailer, they are all looking for work. And for people who want temporary, or even up to full-time, what many of these companies do, they test you out and see how well you do as a temporary or seasonal employee. And then once you're in the door, you have a chance to elevate. With Amazon, the next day or the next week, you can apply for another position that's up. So a lot of people turn their noses up and say, hey, I don't want to start at the lower level, but really it's a good way to enter many of these companies and move and work your way up.
I'm sorry, UPS did that 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They hired permanent part-timers. I never knew UPS was a union shop.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that they just hired people. But in 9 months, you get 100% benefits for you and your family, and that includes college tuition for your children.
Wow.
And you're working part-time. So there were people who started, they're still working there. They get a ride from, if there's room, from the county, and right in front of 50 South Clinton. They pick them up at night for the overnight. UPS will start picking them up sometime the end of next month for the overnight. And it's a way for them to get in. Also, small business for the county.
Yes.
They're looking for minorities, looking for them, because nobody's walking in it. Well, not in the door per se, but nobody's contacting them. And when you do business with the county, you have to they go first to small business to see if there's anybody registered,
right,
before they go out and hire from the outside. And my former boss happens to run small business.
All right.
So you know I'm gonna call them up.
Yes,
And I work as nerves when I work with them. I'm gonna work them even more than that.
Well, keep doing it.
But they have a lot of money.
Right.
If I can add something?
Just before that, so let me just put this out here. So I am, folks know, I am really a strong advocate for ex-offenders, right? Been doing it for a long time. And we know for a fact that we're starting to see things open up for ex-offenders, right? We know that parolees now have a right to vote, which I think that is good. I always believe when a person do a crime and they pay their debt to whatever way they had to pay it, I do believe that they deserve a second chance, right? What are we doing in terms of, I'm 45 years old, right? I'm an ex-offender. I got 3 kids. I just came home. I'm not on parole, but I got some fines to pay. I got to take care of some things. And as a young person, they may have the time to go through the training. I don't have time to go to the training, right? What do MOAD offer to ex-offenders where if they walk into the door and I want to be serviced, how can y'all help me? Now, again, I'm 45. I don't have time to do the training. I got to pay these fines. I got 3 kids that I got out here. I got a wife. I got to get this rent together. I got to pay some bills. What do we have for ex-offenders under MOAD?
Okay, well, you would basically be looking for a job.
Right, looking for a job. I got to feed my family.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
rent,
and
public service. Yeah.
What has emerged is what's called offender-friendly occupations, okay? Supply chains, fulfillment centers, that used to be seasonal, but because COVID now, everyone's ordering online, so them jobs now are like all year round. It's seasonal in those industries, no. So they are definitely open for ex-offenders or offender-friendly. So that right there, that's an industry. Right now we're looking for people. They don't take you through the crunch. They hire. If you're ready to come in, you're ready to work hard, you'll find yourself there making a nice wage for.
Okay, so what number can that person call? When you say ex-offender, call your office?
Yeah,
how does that work?
Call our office. You can call our office at MOAD, or you could send an email.
All right, give that number out. Give that information out. What's the number? See?
973-677-8914. Again, 973-677-8914. And again, the email again is workforce@eastorange-nj.gov. So call in and, again, remember, resumes are good, but some of these positions, they want to just know that you're ready to come in and work.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that, right, we talk about the ex-offenders, right? And I told you I was gonna ask some questions, not all Connie's out. Right? But so I'm a 64-year-old man or woman, and I want to work, right? I retired, but I want to now work. I don't want to just sit home. What are we offering for those individuals in that age bracket, or a little younger? If I'm 60 years old, what do you have for me? How can I come into MOAD and see if there's some opportunities for me? What do we have and what we're offering? Is the platform the same, or is there a different avenue of a person of my age, 62 years old, I retired, and I want to work?
Well, sometimes, Mayor, people want to work at that age, but they have to be careful about how much money they make.
Right.
Especially if they're on Social Security and they're not to the age where they can make as much money as they want. Fortunately, what we've been able to do in the past is they've always been looking for crossing guards, people to work for in the lunch, giving out the lunches in the schools, the colleges, food service. That'll give them, keep them under the radar just enough. There's greeters at places like Home Depot and Walmart. A lot of people that are just retiring but not quite making ends meet, that's been a really good job for them because they get to talk to people and do things that, keep them active. And so those are, I know they've always been asking for crossing guards, and those are locally homegrown people, so we've been doing that.
Right, and that's important. I know that before we go back to your question, Mr. Sharp, Connie, is there anybody on Facebook that had any questions for our panel?
Well, yes. I want to represent the younger people. Letitia Renee asked the question, can teens be serviced all year round through MOAD or just in the summer?
Well, they can be serviced year-round. Now, as far as having opportunities to get paid year-round, we have to refer them to outside employers. And for teens, the industry that's hottest is what has been hot over the years. A lot of the fast food restaurants, a lot of the pizza places, things like that. Teens tend to be very good with social media. So now an emerging job market is social media marketing, or helping these companies get their products out on like Instagram, Facebook, and the other social media websites. So we are finding that to be a good area as well.
And I think that's a very important question that our young people kind of brought up, because I know that we was trying to find ways before this COVID
right.
really just came on to us, to find ways how our young people can work year round.
Right.
And I know that your office was really working on that, because I do think it's important for our young people to not only feel that they're only going to get a summer job, but they can work all year round. I know when I was young, I had an opportunity to work at East Orange General Hospital after school. And then during the summer, I worked at Recreation and Culture Affairs. And that's why it's so important for all those folks who do business with our city, that we're going to become talking to you, because if you're doing business in our city and you're making money, then you're going to have to help us hiring our young people, help us make sure that we can seek employment from quite a few of you. So again, we're going to try to stay on top of this. Connie, any more questions that they have for the panel?
I have another one from Terry Leslie Miller, and this could go to Ms. Johns or possibly Mr. Sharp. What about training for public speaking? Terry is interested in public speaking. Can you direct her to?
Well, I'm sure we can look through our list of partners. Toastmasters, that's what Jackie said. They have programs that engage people in public speaking, and that will be one. Toastmasters is an older one, and there's some others out there.
Yeah, there are some Toastmasters.
Well, a lot of times they can go online too, but Toastmasters is one of the premier. But they was working at University of Medical and Dentistry. They also was at Elmwood Presbyterian Church on Elmwood Avenue. I don't know with this COVID where they at. Montclair was sponsoring Toastmasters. So Terry, if you could go to Toastmasters.com, it'll tell you where the location's at. It'll tell you the time of day that they're doing them. But I think with this COVID's going on, is that they're doing them virtual on Zoom. But just look into Toastmasters, and there's other folks out here. I know there's a few friends of mine that also does the public speaking classes. And you just go online on social media, and someone will get back to you. But Toastmasters is one of the best. Any more, Connie? Any for the panel? There was just two.
This one, Mayor, you can respond to. You can give the information for the mayor's office. Carolyn Duff Owens wants to know, who does she speak to about threats from a landlord mailing fake eviction letters with threats?
Yeah. You know, during this COVID, we've been having a lot of that. So if you get an opportunity, first of all, call the police department when somebody's threatening you. You know, let the law handle that, so you can have something legally in writing that person or whoever it is threatening you. And the second thing is, when a landlord is giving you fake information, speak to our rent leveling person, which is Wanda Watson. Wanda Watson deals with all rent leveling issues. She can be reached at 973-266-5230. That's Wanda Watson. So again, call Wanda Watson. She will be able to help you. But the other matter with anyone being threatened or feeling in fear of anyone, call our East Orange Police Department. You can speak to Chief Bendy, or you can speak to our Director, Saldita. So please call those numbers. Our police department number is 973-266-5000. So with that, I know Mr. Sharp earlier before I kind of cut you off, and I kind of do that a lot. I'm gonna do it one more time, don't worry about it. Because I want to kind of like bring Dr. Griffin this, right? Because she works for Health and Human Services, right? And Dr. Griffin, and we're going to kind of come outside of the COVID information, how important it is for young people to know that when it comes to Health and Human Services, the importance of becoming, for instance, you know, the director, or they can become the health officer, or they can become into the health field. How important that is also. We talk about trades and we talk about career paths. How important it is for young people to know that in health and human services that there are job opportunities.
It's very important. As you mentioned before, there's always a need for a trade, and when it comes to health, there's always a need for caretakers and individuals who are able to monitor health. And so whether it is a health director or a health officer, these are positions in government that are still affiliated with health. But then also we have clinics, and a lot of individuals don't realize that apart from the hospitals, apart from the traditional agencies, there are also clinics that are affiliated with local government. And so whether you're a dental assistant, a dental tech, you're a nursing assistant, there are opportunities also within government. And also keep in mind that we're seeing it now that a lot of medical positions are in high demand because of the pandemic, but also it just highlights the fact that if you don't have health, you don't have much. And there are a lot of individuals who support the health of a variety of individuals, from the children, you know, in pediatric specialties, all the way through adults and senior adults and gerontology. So all of the different positions in healthcare are necessary, and not all of them require an exorbitant amount of years of training. So it's important to explore that. If you're interested in health, then you can start out even as a nurse's aide, a tech, where you might be able to go into a hospital and get training after being hired, and the training lasts less than a year. It actually can be a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and that's where you can start to get your foot in the door and get exposed to the healthcare industry.
Good, and thank you so much, Dr. Griffin, for that information, because I think all the information that we provided tonight is so important and essential, especially with those who are joining us tonight on our COVID town hall meeting. And just to give folks, you know, we've been on a while, just an update on our discussion tonight. We have our Mayor's Office of Employment and Training here, who is basically talking about all what they do, their day-to-day operation, what they're doing over in the office, and also what opportunities are out there when you come to the Mayor's Office of Employment and Training. And that's for those who want job opportunities, who seeking to get their resumes upgraded, those who are interested in some of the development that's going on. You want to work on those sites, you come in. Also, job development, because we know that during this COVID that we saw a lot of jobs really close down. As a matter of fact, that's my next subject before we close out tonight. And I just want to kind of get some feedback from the entire panel, right? We're starting to see each and every day, you know, matter of fact, I went up to Modell's, one of my favorite stores. So, you know, honestly, I go to Modell's and they closed down. And then I walk into Lauren Taylor's, they're closing down, right? And I quite often, I talk to my chief of staff and the VA. I said, and we had a discussion about this, how do we prepare for when there's many people right from East Orange that work at some of these retail companies, right, these retail stores? How do we prepare ourselves for those individuals who say, you know, in a couple more weeks or a month, you know what, man, I was working at Lauren Taylor, you know, I was the top salesperson, or I was working at Modell's, or I was working at, you know, Macy's. How are we preparing ourselves for the fluctuation of folks that may come to us and say, I may have to change my career, or what opportunities that you have out there in the companies that you have been working with that I can jump right back into a job.
And I would say a lot of those people, when they are working in retail, they have to have customer service skills. Customer service skills is a skill that's transferable to many industries. Right now, call centers are hot. Businesses are looking for people to give customer service online to their people who use their services. We have the little chat, customer service chats, things like that, help desk. So there are many, many areas where you can use that skill, and hopefully they were good customer service people when they worked in retail.
Right.
So that's one thing I can think of. It's also important that people be able to use the computer on some level. Most jobs now require you, almost every job, to do something online. So you need access to the internet, be it through your phone, a tablet, or a computer. You need a valid email address that you actually check, because some companies don't even, they won't even call you back. They just email you your next steps. So some people have lost out on opportunities because they have not checked their email. And please have a professional email address. So, you know, something with maybe do your first initial last name or something very professional, not something that you would use as a handle.
Right.
Or something.
But
Yeah.
also, to piggyback just quickly, Mayor, the state gets a list of the people by town who are laid off or store closings. They used to come around, but they don't anymore, not because of COVID, they just stopped doing it. But maybe we can look into getting that list to see what they're eligible for, because if they're eligible for, you know, training, maybe they need those computer skills that under WIOA, that could pay for that, and they can help them move on too.
Right, and I'm glad you said that, because I know a few weeks ago I looked at our unemployment rate, right? And I know prior to the COVID, we was at a decent level.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're good.
it wasn't like we was unemployment free here in the city of East Orange. But during this COVID, we saw the numbers rise, right? And that's a concern, because when people start losing jobs, you know, we have to make sure as a city and government that we help provide services in our community, which I think we have been. And I guess have Moet seeing a fluctuation of people coming in and people, you know, is in demand. Did y'all numbers go up in terms of telephone calls, people coming in, applying, in terms of looking at the unemployment rate going up? And, you know, listen, we know the governor basically did everything he can by making sure that he extended the unemployment rather. Matter of fact, he did it twice and he's still doing it. But do we see that we have quite a few number of people who come in and have to apply for our programs?
Mr. Mayor, we see, I mean, people have called, but not in a way that, you know, we would think that they would be calling because they're unemployed. I think right now, because of the child care situation,
Yeah, that's the big
people
thing.
can't get to work, and most of the jobs that they worked were, you know, contact jobs, and that just doesn't happen right now. So we haven't seen, you know, our door being bust down with people looking, but hopefully, as a service to East Orange residents, you know, we will be able to upgrade our website, you know, our webpage, to have features that they can do on their own. You know, as far as what we talked about, resume, career assessments. So hopefully we can upgrade our website to have some of that functionality and assist our residents with their career job search and, you know, placement, along with our assistants, of course.
Right. So listen, you know, my team is giving me my you know, cue cards up. But, you know, listen, all the information that all of you provided tonight is so important, right? And as we've been having these weekly virtual meetings, and those who out there have been watching and listening. We thank all the individuals who constantly come on, and we hear it quite often, that information that has been provided for the last 27, 28 weeks, really since this COVID started, people really take heed to it. You know, it gives them an opportunity to join in on the meetings, and also whatever topic that we're talking about during that evening, people have been benefiting from the information. What I want to do, I want to kind of give each of you a closeout statement, and then I'm going to let Dr. Griffin close out with some of the things that we're going to be doing. Then I'm just going to give the folks some updates, and we're going to close out. But I just really want to thank all of you for really providing so much information, because as a city such as East Orange, people are really dependent on us, right? But most of the time, people depend on information. Where can I go? Where's the resources? What number should I call? I always believe that when we give out the emails, and we give out the websites, and we give out numbers, and people are responding back, that's a relief for many people who sometimes feel that there's no hope. You understand what I'm saying? So thank you all for those numbers. So what I want to do, I'm going to go around. Manager, Donna Johns, you can close out. I'm going to let David go first. I'm going to let Councilwoman Johnson. I'm going to let you. And I'm going to let Dr. Griffin. Okay? So whatever you want to close out, we'll close out. You got 1 minute.
All right, 1 minute. Well, I just want people to don't feel hopeless. I mean, as it was said, the COVID has closed a lot of doors, but the COVID has also opened many doors. And if you have to work right now and pay your bills, understandable. But if in the long run, I mean, COVID's not going to be forever. You're going to want to, get back into your career, or you're going to be looking for a career. So I would say right now, don't wait. I know some people, you have unemployment, you probably got about 50 weeks left. Don't wait till the 40th week to say, oh, I need to start looking for work. Start now, start now. Really, really consider your resume. It may look great. It may seem like it's the next best thing, but it's always good to kind of sit down with someone and take a look at it, and let someone else look at it, and that's what we're here for. Also, think about what it is that you really, really feel that you want to do, because it's kind of a restart for everybody, getting back into the workplace. So it's kind of like a start over, unless you want to get, your company's going to hire you back. So my thing is, don't wait, to the last minute, because you're not the only person looking for employment. So, give us a call, reach out to us, and, we can at least get you going. Give you some pointers, give you a checklist on what you should and could be doing right now.
Thank you, Mr. Sharp. Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank you and the other members of your administration. Working at 90 Halstead has been an eye-opener for me. But I will want to say this, and it's kind of off the mark for a little bit, but I can't thank you and your staff enough for the services that you have provided to our residents. Because there should, the food and everything else. I mean, last week I had 45 cartons in my car and I was riding around delivering them. But as far as the jobs concerned, we're here for you. But the one thing I want to say, and we talked about the ex-offenders too, don't be afraid to apply for a job. You may not think you have the skills, somebody else may. You just may think that you have a record, and that other person on the other side of the table, that doesn't bother them. I mean, even with the Port Authority, they're hiring. You may not get job A, but they may offer you job B. We're going to get you as close to inside the door as we possibly can. We're going to teach you how to go in and act appropriately with a manager or a hiring manager. And if that doesn't work, you're going to come on back and we're going to keep working until we can get you hired. That's the mayor's goal, and that's going to be our goal too.
Thank you so much. Ms. Johns.
Yes, I just want to add that today, Governor Murphy implemented tuition assistance for child care. And people may not know that, And so if you have a school-age child, age 5 through 13, you are eligible, if you make under $75,000 a year, for child care assistance from the state. And they offer $634 a month that will be paid directly to the child care center or to a registered family child care provider. So you can find out more information on www.childcarenj.gov. No spaces in between. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know childcare is a barrier,
Yeah, that's important.
For a lot of people. It's not a lot of money, but it's something, you know. So it may suit your needs. The other thing I want to point out that there is a veterans job fair. We didn't get a chance to talk about our veterans. There are a lot of opportunities specifically just for that population. And so Congressman Donald Payne has his annual veterans job fair, and they are actually having it in person. But you have to register, and I guess they're just going to allow so many people in the room. And they have the Port Authority, New York and New Jersey, Amazon, Newark Beth Israel Hospital, Goodwill, Transform, SR Home Improvements, and many, many more companies. So please reach out to the Congressman's office at 973-645-3213. And Mayor, I want to thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
To let us.
Listen, I'm gonna get killed by my staff and my team, right? But we have virtual summer job opportunities for our young people, right?
Yes.
Very quickly, are we planning to do something for our young people during this winter with virtual job opportunity, employment?
Well, yes, we are working or are in discussions with actually the school board to see if we can continue the virtual program and engage some of the businesses to actually hire the young people. So just stay tuned. We have to dot our I's and cross our T's, but we are working. That was a very successful program. The students are asking for it. We are taking some students over to Seton Hall. Just students who were in the SWEP program, check your email. We'll be going over to Seton Hall next Wednesday, and we will be providing transportation. So we're taking the first 20 to 25 students who register.
Okay,
so
great.
Please do that. And if you need more information, email youth2000@eastorange-nj.gov.
Thank you so much, Ms. John. So, Dr. Griffin, you know, we always say the best for last.
What I would say is that this conversation is extremely important, mainly because there's been a national conversation about the potential for an increase in displacement and homelessness due to consequences associated with the pandemic, specifically with a lot of the job closures. And so, you know, I just really commend and thank Moet, because Moet has been operating since before the pandemic and continues to provide that support to East Orange residents even after the pandemic to make sure that we collectively are doing everything that we can to address every facet of the consequences and the factors that have emerged due to the pandemic. As it pertains specifically to the pandemic, the mayor did mention we're entering into flu season. We're still monitoring the pandemic. It's very important for you to take advantage of flu clinics that are available. We as a city are offering free flu shots to children and adults. You can feel free to contact the health department at 973-266-5490, and we'll provide you with any information that you might need related to our services. But again, if you are not open to the flu shot, do everything that you can to raise and boost your immunity, because the flu season is coming. Individuals are coming down with colds at an increasing or a higher rate than before. So it's still very important for you to do everything that you have been doing to reduce the likelihood of you contracting the coronavirus, but also now the flu as well. Because again, it's another respiratory illness, and you don't want it to be susceptible to 2 respiratory illnesses at the same time. What I would also mention is that we still are offering COVID testing. We've transitioned from offering COVID testing at 161 Elmwood Avenue, and we're now offering it at Raleigh Park. The next 2 dates of the COVID testing will be on October 2nd and October 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you are in need of a COVID test, please, visit Raleigh Park on October 2nd and October 16th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll offer dates in November, we'll offer dates in December as well, because it's still very important if you are sick, if you need to assess whether or not you have COVID, to get tested. We're not the only option, but we're a consistent option, and it's important to take advantage of any opportunity you can to get tested. And lastly, we know that businesses are open, we know that restaurants are open, indoor services are available, as well as gyms. If you, within the community, see that any business or any gym is allowing individuals into their establishment or allowing individuals into the establishment without wearing masks, please contact the health department. Because again, we have to continue to work together to make sure that our rates remain stable, and we want to do everything that we can to ensure that COVID isn't transmitted from one person to the next. So thank you again for everything that you've been doing, but please continue to work with us so that we can keep our rates stable.
Thank you so much. So everyone, we thank everyone for being on tonight on our weekly town virtual meeting. As I close out, I just want to give just a few updates on, for instance, we are now enforcing our parking rules. I'm going to say that again. We are now reinforcing our parking rules. Please adhere to all parking rules. All rules are in effect. Pay attention to the signs on your street. In areas where there is permitted street and overnight parking, we are not asking for permits right now, but you must follow the rules and move your car when the signs tell you to. So look at the signs and move your car when you are told to, because we need to make sure we sweep our streets, right? But again, if you don't move your car, then we just give you a warning, you're gonna get a ticket. But to help us, because we're helping you, we're not asking for any permits, look at the signs, read the signs. If it's on a Tuesday and Thursday, then put your car on the side of the street. If it's on a Monday and Wednesday, move your car on the side of the street. If it's from 9 to 12, then at 9 to 12, you have to make sure your car moves. We're asking you to help us because we have to sweep our streets. Because I don't want you calling the mayor saying, I got a ticket, then I go outside, you didn't read that sign. All right? Please follow the rules, East Orange. The last thing, we talked about voting. You must vote November 3rd. The census, make sure you do the census. We continue to do the food distributions every week here in the city of East Orange, throughout the city, at our senior service building on South Clinton and Springdale, on 120 Rhode Island Avenue on Wednesdays, Mayor Ted Green, Bird Linears, and Vernon Pullers. If you need food, any families need food, please reach out to our senior service department and speak to Rita Butts. So again, with that, East Orange, we're gonna close out. I thank everybody on the panel tonight. We kind of went over a little bit, but it's okay. We want the people to get the information. We ask all of you guys to continue to stay vigilant, continue to follow the rules, as what you hear our director say, and what you hear our governor say, and you're hearing the CDC say. I want y'all guys to be safe. If any way we can be of any help tonight, please look at our Facebook page. Please look at our website. Those numbers are on it that we give out weekly. Please call our Office of Constituent Services. If they can be of any help, the mayor's office is 973-266-5151. Ask for Justin Brown or Aja Baldwin, and they will help you any way they can. So again, to all of you, may God bless you. May God bless your families. And may God bless East Orange. We'll talk soon. Good night, everyone.